Hey guys, I just want to make a video about how I do photos, and a lot of you have asked about my process, so I decided to make a video finally about how I photograph items. I'm going to do a couple different items with a couple different variations and show you my process. Now it's different for everyone. You can do a lot of different things, and if you're on a budget, I have a couple recommendations. I started out on a budget and I wasn't really planning on buying anything much larger than what I started out with, but eventually I broke down and got some umbrella lighting, which you can see behind me. I'm actually kind of using right now. I'm using some daylight behind me as well because it gets kind of dark in this room when I don't have all the lighting on or the windows open. So I recommend a darker room to start if you're going to be using some lighting. Now to start out, I'm going to get a piece of an article of clothing, and then I'm going to show you a couple different things with it, and I'm going to explain a couple different processes that you yourself can use. First things first, you always want to make sure the article is clean and it's ironed and it's presentable. This is a good time. Obviously you want to inspect the garment in the thrift store, but you can only do so much. Many times we get an article of clothing back to our home and then we start looking through it during photograph time, or even we'll get it out to ship it and sure enough we find something wrong with it. So this is a good time to inspect the article, make sure, because you don't want to waste all your time taking pictures of something that's ruined practically. So after inspection's done, after ironing and making sure it's all set, you want to take the article and apply it to your mannequin. Now if you don't have a mannequin, I recommend just clearing off the table and getting some clamp lighting. Now clamp lighting, you can pick that up at Walmart for about $6 or $7 per light. Just put in a nice bright light bulb in it. Something that it's rated for. You don't want to do something too big for it that will cause some sort of fire hazard. But make sure that you have enough lighting. I like to get a couple different angles of lighting. 3 is a great number for lighting, so that way you're doing away with all shadows cast from every direction. And set it up in a triangle, and I usually clamp the lights up above and take the pictures from above. Now you're still going to get some cast shadows from your hands and from the camera, but if you angle the lights in at about a 45-degree angle, you'll take away a lot of that effect. I broke down, like I said, got some of these umbrella lighting, and I also got a mannequin. A mannequin, you can find a good one. This one I got on eBay, actually. Imagine that. For about 70 bucks, and it has worked wonders for us. We do mostly clothing items, so if that's what you work in, I recommend breaking down and investing in a mannequin. You can get a couple different models of them. I got the men's mannequin, and then I found a female bust at a yard sale, and I just took the bottom off. The bottom was broken. I just slide it. I made it adaptable to be able to slide on top of this pole right here. I'm not going to take it off. I have my GoPro set up right here, so it's kind of wobbly, but hopefully the sound quality is good on this video. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on the mannequin, button it up, and go ahead and put it on top of the mannequin here. Now you can use your phone to take pictures. That always works. Or you can take it up a notch. I just recently broke down and got the Rebel T5i, and I really like this one. You can get a tripod, but I think it's a waste of time to try to use a tripod. Okay, so I'll show you these pictures as I take these pictures. I'll have to do that in editing, but try to get a good photo of, capture every little detail of it. Get the pony in there. Trying to get one of the collars. Make sure we're getting all the major details of the shirt. The button, if it has any embellishments on it, if it has wording on it, I usually try to get the button. I try to pull, this is a size medium, small/medium mannequin. I wish I would have gotten a little bit bigger on the size, but at the same time, you know, you have a lot more to work with because a small shirt won't fit on a large mannequin. So I can always make a larger shirt look like it fits, at least. One to the back. I recommend with a lighter colored shirt, lighter colored garment, that you put a black backdrop as well. I have one of those. I'm just too lazy right now to get it out. Plus, hey, we're in the process of moving. We close on our house here in just a couple weeks, and we're in a rental right now. It's a temporary dwelling place, so this isn't even my permanent lighting here. So, this isn't my permanent studio rather. So I have a temporary studio set up. So what you're seeing is, obviously it's transportable. I even use this lighting for some of the video editing that we do for our church. Okay, that's I think everything that we have to do on the mannequin. So I'm actually going to show you what I do now. Is I take a shirt and I get a picture of the tag. Bring this around here. Bring the lighting around. Get nice and bright. Get right down on it. Got a picture with all the details in it. I think that's it for this shirt. Alright, on to the next garment. Okay, next thing. It's actually not a garment at all. I'm going to show you how I photograph a pair of shoes, and then we'll do a suit, and we'll call it quits. At least for this video. I'm going to actually take this white backdrop that I was using for just a flat surface, and I'm going to set it up so that way it's a sheer backdrop. Okay, that looks okay. And now I'm going to take these Shimano bicycling shoes and I'm going to set these right here. I'm going to have to bring all my lighting over here. See this? Maybe you can see it. There's a shadow being cast right behind the shoes there. So I need to get another angle of light in order for that to be done away with. So I'm actually going to move you right here. Get the camera. Now I gotta kind of sneak in here. Move that back. Nice vivid colors. That's what you want. Makes your listing pop when people are scrolling through. That's exactly what you want. Try to get that 3/4 view. Just get every angle of the shoes possible. These are in really good condition, but I want to prove it. Always prove your listing condition with your photos. Here I am standing right in front of this. Step this back here. Good thing I got a telephoto lens on this. Alright. Then you want to take one of the shoes and get a picture of the size tag. There's a big size tag down inside the shoe, but you want to make sure you get the official size tag. That's not it. And of course, it's in the most inconvenient place possible. Still works. Alright, and that's how I photograph shoes. I mean, simple stuff, folks. Pretty simple stuff. It's nothing, I mean, don't overthink it. It takes a process to set it all up, yeah. But overall, it's worth it because the quality of photos that you get, I mean, that's what sells your items. If you have haphazard photos, you're going to have that reflected in your sales. And, I mean, you can use a phone to take your photos. And I did for the longest time, actually up until just a couple weeks ago I did. But when I moved to a DSLR, it really changed the whole dynamic of my photos, the quality, and I highly recommend going that direction. Let's show you how I photograph a suit, and we'll end the video from there. Here's how I photograph a suit. Now I'm just going to do a blazer just to give you an idea. The suit, what I would usually do is I either have a stool, and I elevate the stool a little bit and put the pants folded neatly in front on top of the stool, or I just drape it over the coat, over the shoulder. And you can check out some of my listings to see what that looks like. For this one, I have a Paul Bentley. It's a Paul Bentley blazer. It's just a window pane plaid. I'm going to try to make this as let me take a look here. This feels really weird. It feels like it might be a linen or something, but it's actually a wool and lycra. Wool and a lycra. So like a really coarse wool. Not that that's a bad thing. This is a size 40 short, so it should fit my mannequin pretty well. What I usually do if it doesn't fit is I would take some pins, some sewing pins, or tailoring pins. It's the little pins with the dot on it. Actually, I have one right here. I'll show it to you. Take these little dudes right here, and I will just pin the back and make it fit a little nicer, so that way it's more presentable on the mannequin. Now, the rule of thumb when wearing a blazer or a suit is that if it's 2 buttons, you just button the top button. If it's 3 buttons, you button either the middle button or the top and middle button, but you never button the bottom button. So, little men's fashion there for you. I usually pull the sleeves through, otherwise it bunches around the waist and it gives a little bit of a bulky look to it. Now, I want to put a tie on this, so I'm trying to speed through this here for you. Just need to tie this tie real quick. You only need to see a certain part of the tie, so it doesn't have to be pretty. Just be just a little throw together tie. Again, if you don't have a mannequin, I recommend for a suit, just lay it flat on the table again. Make sure you have enough lighting, and you do just a couple photographs from above, and make sure it's just spread out. Some people have asked, okay, how do you do the measuring process? I only measure my blazers and my suits. I don't measure my shirts and sweaters. It just takes so much time to do that. And if somebody wants a measurement, I mean, if they're going to buy it, I'll take the time to measure it and send them the measurements. But I usually just take the time and measure blazers and suits. This one, I'll measure it whenever I go to list it, and that could be, 2 days from now, for all I know. Alright, so that looks sufficient. I want to make that nice and snug. I can't button that top button because the mannequin's neck is too big. Could get a bigger shirt, I guess. A nice little dimple. Make sure it's back. Now for the presentation of this, I'm going to button the top or bottom button because it looks like the button's missing if I don't. Alright, and usually this is your choice what you want to do. I usually tuck it underneath so it looks like it's in the hand in the pocket. And just like that, you have a nicely made mannequin in no time flat. Now, they take the most time to photograph and to prepare, but it's worth it. They're my favorite ones to photograph and model. Nice detail to the. These have unique pockets, so if there's any sort of unique embellishment to it, always feature that. I'm going to get the buttons on here, get my hand out of it, a nice little focus. There we go. And same with the back. Pull it all to the front so it gives it a good snug feel. Take off any lint or boogers. Alright, that about does it. I have one more thing to do. One more little doodad here. Off the mannequin, bring it over, and take photos of all the pertinent information. Sometimes you can flip the coat inside out. I used to do that, but man, it just takes so much time. Sometimes if it's like a really expensive blazer, if it's a really nice one like a Zegna or a Canali, I will do that, and especially if it has a nice embellished lining. I forgot to bring the lighting over here, but I think it's bright enough. Yeah, that'll do. Alright guys, that's all I got for today. So like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, all the typical cliche stuff that YouTube people say. So if you have any recommendations of videos, things you'd like to see, just put it in the comments below. Thanks. God bless you and your selling.